Hi, my name is Kai. I'm sick. I make videos of my life, and welcome to a little inaccessibility at Universal storytime video. So we filmed this on our drive back, and I was gonna put it in my original video, but the first video was already really long, and this one was really long. So if you haven't seen that video, I'd suggest go checking it out up here. That is our just little vlog of Universal, and this video is going to be the story time of what happened on one of the rides when accessibility ended up being an issue. So I will let past Kai and friends take it away.
Hold on, we gotta start with the dramatic retelling from the beginning, right? We were supposed to come to the park for one day. We're gonna start here. And that was supposed to be yesterday, but we got the wrong tickets from a friend. So we got tickets for yesterday, and we were like, oh, we're supposed to leave tomorrow, but let's just go for part of the day.
Because we had the tickets.
Because we had the tickets already. We might as well.
Might as well.
Might as well. So we did. Maybe it was a mistake. No, we had a really good day.
No, it was not a mistake.
However,
no mistakes were made.
When we walked in, we are going to ride Hagrid's whatever, and that was the goal. So we decided to get the accessibility pass from Macy, because when I'm in the wheelchair, it's not a problem. So we get the accessibility pass. So Macy's got the accessibility pass. I've got the wheelchair. Those are two separate things.
Have you defined what the accessibility pass is?
You get a return time. So it's one of the ones, like, it's the same thing with Disney. You get a return time. Like, you go, you get a time, you get to walk away. You're still waiting in line, but you're not in the line. So you can go sit down somewhere else or go get food or whatever else in between. So we go to get the accessibility pass, and we got it literally just for Hagrid. That was it. Just for Hagrid's. So we go, we get our return time. We go and do a few other things, and we come back. And they shove us in the line, and we go. And we're kind of sat there for a few minutes, and we're like, this doesn't seem right. So we send Malia back down.
Okay, you're leaving a lot of stuff out.
What am I leaving out?
Because when we came back, when we had them, so we've had really good experiences at the park. We have made friends with a lot of the employees because they're really, really kind. This is the first really bad experience that I've had.
And really only.
Yeah. Because when we came up to them, there's two layers of greeters. The ones that we first came to, they checked the accessibility pass to make sure that you came at your time, and then they sign off on it to verify. They did not speak to us at all. They barely even looked at us. They signed it and then just gestured for us to go forward. We're like, okay, there's two lanes. Which way are we supposed to go? And the guy, the first greeter, which is the person who is at the entrance to each lane, the express lane and the standby lane, they gestured at the normal lane, and I showed them the accessibility pass, and they still gestured at the only lane.
Did they even say anything to us?
They never said a word to us.
Oh my god.
And I was like,
I thought you said this
we specified, I think I asked, is this the right lane for the accessibility pass? And they said this one.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
I was like, I know you said something.
And then we were in the line, and the accessibility pass is for people who struggle to wait, who stand in line for 30 minutes and longer. And so 20 minutes rolls around.
Well, no, it wasn't even 20 minutes. Like,
the first time was 10 minutes.
We've been in there like 5-10 minutes. And I was like,
but the line
doesn't
was like
feel right. It's not moving. I don't think we're in the spot we're supposed to be in. This does not feel right. So we send Malia down and go, hey, what is, like, we have a wheelchair, we've got the accessibility pass.
And for context, the line for Hagrid's, I don't know how long it is.
It was 110 minutes.
This is the longest.
I mean lengthwise.
Oh,
I mean,
I was like
total line.
I was like, I can tell you exactly. It was 110 minutes because I saw the sign.
Yeah, but like it was really far out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of walking.
And it's all uphill.
And
on steep hills. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you're standing there,
Yeah.
and then you walk, and then you stop, and then you walk, and then you stop.
So we're going. We sent Malia down.
Yeah, they sent me back. I run down in the express line because it's the only one that's empty, basically. And I happened to catch a team member as they're walking up the, like, just normal line, whatever. And I paused and I go, hey, quick question. We have this accessibility pass, and we have someone in a wheelchair.
Because we're complicated.
And I point in the line that he's in to be like, yeah, this is the line that we're in. Are we supposed to be here? Because this feels really long. It doesn't feel right. And he goes, yes, you're in the right line. Actually, first, scratch that. He first talks about my fucking dagger that I got, and he goes, oh, do you have a locker? And I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, we can't have loose items on here, so you just need to put that in a locker. I was like, oh, well, we have a wheelchair. He's like, oh, okay. And then he continues on with, yeah, you're in the right line. Once you get to the part where the line splits, they'll just go ahead and take you to where you need to go.
I'm still in the theory that all he heard was wheelchair and then disregarded everything else that she said. He said, oh, wheelchair? Yeah, you're fine. And that was it.
Yeah.
That's all that he heard.
So Melina comes back to us and is like, yeah, he said this is the right one. So we keep going. So we keep
20 more minutes.
Yeah, for 20 more minutes. And we're
30 more.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it's close to 40 minutes.
I was in there for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
we're like, okay, if we hit this time period, we're gonna go back and say something because this is not correct. Something is going wrong here. And I was pushing you guys to go down sooner and bring something up.
And there's also the thing of the way that the line is, it's scenic, so it takes less time. Or not takes less time, it kind of distracts, but you also can't see how long the line is, or like how far you have to go. So you would pass a corner and see that it actually loops back 3 times before it goes on.
Not to mention the fact that it's like super narrow, so we were just barely even fitting the wheelchair there in the first place, let alone trying to go back out if we even could. Like,
so obviously I know how to use a wheelchair, but those wheelchairs are not great and they don't have anything like smart drives or anything like that, so I can't use them all the time. I can get myself in and out of really small places, but I couldn't even physically get myself up that hill, I think, even with a smart drive or anything.
Seatbelt thing down.
Yeah, there was like, well, okay, shut up. That was more so my shoulders were sore from using the wheelchair and I didn't want to lift up and then pull.
Just saying.
Shut up.
Not relevant.
So like, this is a really steep hill and it's really hard I couldn't wheel myself up. So Lexi's holding me the whole time and we're like braking, but then we're like moving. So we're unbraking, braking, and then holding. It was awkward. It didn't work. It was super narrow. It was super steep.
it got to a point where you had to stop using the brakes because it just...
Yeah, because it was it was such a horrible place to bring a wheelchair.
But we were still like an hour back.
We were like still like, we were sat there forever. So you guys, we just hit a point. We turned around and saw that the like path just kind of kept going, and Macy just went no and turned and left.
When I decided to leave the line, we were happened to be right at like this junction point, which wasn't actually a junction, but it had these trash cans, and it met up with the single rider line, the single rider line that had stairs. And because I had this cane, I was like, I am fine to take the stairs. The cane was a presumptive measure, and specifically because I was struggling with standing because of the pressure that my knees were under. And I ducked out of the line. I walked over to the stairs, went down the stairs, and immediately was greeted by a team member who was directing the express pass versus the single rider line. And his name is Justin, with a Y. Justin with a Y, the Ravenclaw.
And it's not where you think it is.
And it's not where you think it is. It's exactly where you think it is. At the end. So I told him, and I was like on the verge of tears at this point. I was like, hey, I have this accessibility pass. My friends are up there, and we also have a wheelchair with us.
Because mind you, we were all angry, we were all tired, we're stressed, we don't know what's happening, we're overstimulated, and honestly, we're angry.
And I'm one of those people who get overstimulated very quickly, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, I'm out of here.
That's all 3 of you. You guys, I'm like not nearly as sensitive, but you guys all get really overstimulated really quickly, and so we'll go from fine to, oh god, everything is wrong in seconds.
Yeah.
It's called being an actor.
It's called being
dramatic, but
it's called being an Aquarius.
I was gonna say it's called having ADHD.
I think it's literally just called being neurodivergent, but
Yeah, I was like, it's called having ADHD. Anywho. So I explained the situation to Justin, and he was immediately like, oh my god, you're in the wrong line. I'm so sorry. And I was like, come again? Well, first, I knew it. But
second of all,
second, so we're in the wrong line? And I was like, I don't know what to do because that wheelchair cannot get back.
So you call us back.
Well, hold on.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
jump the gun.
Don't get it twisted.
I will point to you when it's your turn.
Okay, fine.
Sorry. I was talking to him and he was like, so how far in the line are you guys? I said, well, when I jumped out of the line, we were right there. But it had been moving at like just a steady enough pace to make it annoying to stand in. But to the fact that they wouldn't be there anymore. And he was like, how did you guys end up in that line? So I explained to him what happened at the front, and he was like, that's definitely, you know, I don't know how this could have happened, but if your friends can turn around and come through this way, or if we wait for them to reach that junction, because that's one of the parts of the line that goes around and then loops back up, and then loops back around, and then loops back up again.
Yep.
And if we could just wait for them to get to that loop, we can have them duck under. Your friend in the wheelchair, if she's able to stand, she can come down these stairs. We can carry the wheelchair down, and then, you know, escort you directly to the ride. And so I called Kai.
You called me.
I called Lexi and Kai and Malia is what I was gonna say. I'm calling all of them because I was asking
I was like,
Kai.
rude as my phone.
Lord.
She called us as an entity.
As an entity, I wanted to know if Kai, as an entity, could go down the stairs.
Yes, I can indeed go down the stairs. That's not, in theory, a problem. But mind you, I'm stressed. I'm really tired. We've been here for a day and a half-ish now at this point.
And mindset.
Oh yeah, I had a
affects the
bagel.
body.
A bagel.
That's enough food.
Oh my god.
For, I guess.
I don't eat that much.
Yes.
I've got stomach problems. And we're traveling.
It still doesn't provide you with enough energy.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't eaten much. I'm dehydrated because
We're in an amusement park.
Yeah,
and
the
you
last
can't
time
drink
I had
water.
infusion was on Tuesday.
Florida,
I
it's
can't
hot.
really drink water, so I'm dehydrated. I'm hungry. I'm not trusting myself to do much. And I'm like, honestly, the fact that this is happening in the first place, they should not have to ask me to go down the stairs. So we're gonna make a point of it. I mean, but I honestly probably couldn't.
Well, he was really hesitant. He literally said, I'm hesitant to ask if your friend can walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I know that she can walk, but I just don't know if she can physically walk right now.
Yeah. And it's less
so
so
that's
like-
why I called to ask.
It's more so like going down all of the stairs.
With 20.
It is 20. He literally walked down them to count.
17.
He counted. No, he counted them himself.
Yeah. He literally
why I
walked
was
down
like,
and then walked back up to count for me.
Oh my god.
So I'm telling you, Justin's a real one. Justin was
love
trying
Justin.
so hard to help.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm just not comfortable with that, especially because we've gone on rides at this point. Like, I'm dizzy enough with POTS that, like, if I pass out on stairs, nobody wants that to happen. At all. So we're just kind of like, no, not really. No.
We decide that she can't go down the stairs, and I explained that to him, and he was like, okay, so what I can do is I can escort you to the front of the ride, and you can ride it if you want. And when they get to a certain point, they can go, they can exit the ride. Sorry. Or they can walk back through, and I was like, well, the first one is going to have to be it, but they're probably just going to ride the ride anyway, because that's what they wanted to do. These are the ones I wanted to ride. I honestly didn't really even want to ride it. I'm not a big fan of roller coasters. I wanted to come with you, and it's Hagrid, and I love
And it's
Hagrid.
cute, yeah.
It really does look really cool.
And I've ridden it before, so I knew what was coming, so I would have been better with it. I'm just not a big fan of going sideways at really fast speed.
Well, I can't imagine why.
Well, what was bad was the first time I rode it was on the bike, and I didn't know what was coming. And then we went up, and then we went down, and then we dropped.
Oh yeah, the drop scared me so bad.
And I was like, this is the end of my life. I'm coming off of this seat. I know when we dropped, I came off the seat. Because there's no
Oh, for sure.
But that was a side point.
It's a little side note.
A little side note. Little funny, goofy
Little
moment.
extra.
That's your little taste of what's to come before we finish the story.
So, he basically brings me up the express lane until we reach this gate, which actually the last time Malia, Lexi and I went to Universal and we rode Hagrid's ride, when we got escorted by our friend to the front, it was a really great experience. He took us through this area in order to get there. And so I basically came through that gate and then went out the exit lane. And he told me that once I get to the front, I need to talk to one of them and ask, I don't need to say anything, I just need to ask for a team leader. And I was like, I know about team leaders, I can do that. So I hobbled my way over to the front.
Universal version of a manager.
So I hobbled my way over to a team member, and I'm like, I need to speak to a team leader, and they're like, you can't see my eyes, but...
It's like the character in Claudia the Chips and Meatballs with the eyebrows. Steve.
But
No, Steve is not key.
Oh yeah. Anyways.
But I wait for a bit, and they basically go through people until they find somebody with a radio, which
Took a while, apparently.
I don't know why it took a while, because the first greeter always has a radio. Well, like, the people in the lockers don't typically need one.
Even still.
Because they know how to do all the locker issues. They know how to unlock them, they know how to do that. They don't need, like, ride manager. So the team leader comes down, her name is Amy, and she is great and amazing. I explained to her what happened, and she was like, this never should have happened, and I'm so sorry that this did happen, and because of the wheelchair and the way that the line is set up, there's no way for anybody to get to them in order to get them somewhere else until they get inside. So they have to wait through all that to get inside. And she was like, alright, she was just so apologetic. She was like, this is not what we strive for as a park. This is not what we strive for as a team. And I was like, I don't hold you at fault for this. This is an anomaly of a situation that I've experienced. So she says, to make up for the time that you've lost in this ride, can I give you guys 2 express passes each, so that you can enjoy something else that you like, which they did come in very handy later. But we went on FJ 4 or 5 times.
That was kind of fun.
Not our biggest record, right?
Not our best record, but still impressive. And so we I basically said thank you, and she asked me what the team members looked like, if I remembered their names or who they were, and I said I don't remember exactly who we were talking to, other than the fact that they never said a word to us, and that automatically made me a little off center. And I could show you what time we came, because we came right on time. And she said because she could look in the security cameras to see who it was. And so
I take pride in doing that.
She left, and literally she said, I'm going to go check the cameras now, and I'm going to have a talk with the people who did this and make sure that does not happen again. I was like, thank you very much. So then I went to watch the Frog Choir, and I went on the Singer-Rider
Macy
FJ.
went off to adventure on her own.
And I only cried twice, but it was fine, and I made friends with these little kids from Beijing who wanted to explore the corridors of Hogwarts with me, and it was great. Kind of.
Waiting in line for a while, and we start getting, so we kind of move in, and we're just angry.
By this point,
Just gonna cut off.
after I had talked with the team member, though, it was like 50, almost an hour that they've been there.
Because it had taken us like an hour to get inside the castle.
So we hang up with Macy, and we just kind of keep going. We're like, we literally can't leave. We're just gonna go and hope that we get there soon, and like hope that this is fine. So we just kind of keep going, and we just keep going and keep going. We finally get inside the castle, and I'm getting fed up. Like, I am to the point, like, I am just angry because we've been separated from Macy for how long?
30 minutes.
We can't go anywhere because of the inaccessibility of it. I'm just not happy with the situation. And I'm honestly embarrassed, like, that this has happened, that, like, this is where we're at. Like, this is not what we're supposed to do. We're not gonna have a full day at Universal anyways, and now we're wasting almost half our day.
And there's
doing
also this like negative aspect of the fact that there are people in line. We would talk about this, and we're not exactly quiet, because why would we need to whisper about this?
No.
Everybody, if you're gonna talk about your problems in a park, nobody does it quietly.
No.
But like, we're talking about the fact that we have the accessibility pass, so we shouldn't have to wait in this. Like, and people laughed at us.
Yeah.
People looked at us and were like staring at us and laughing at us. I'm talking about a very specific girl in a camo tank top who kept looking over at us, laughing and talking to her mom about it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, I was giving her death glares the whole time.
She said something to me.
You probably shouldn't have said something to either of us.
I would never have said
would've done
anything to
something.
you
No.
guys, because then I absolutely, because we would have had to sit in that line for another 2 hours.
No, if she had said if I had seen her do it, I would have said something to her.
That's insane.
Anywho, but like, that's just already like, that's one of the things that made me overwhelmed, is the fact that I felt like everybody's eyes were on me.
Yeah.
Because I was the one with the accessibility pass, and that was an awful feeling.
So I talk about this a lot with my school's accessibility. There's a certain way that you're only allowed to go through the door if you have a disability and you're parked in the handicap parking. And it's like dehumanizing and embarrassing to be like, oh, you can't go this way. You go, oh, I'm disabled, let me through. Like, to be able to say like, oh, sorry, I'm broken, I'm not functional, I have to go this way, unlike everybody else, stop yelling at me and let me through, every day is like so hard. So I feel like this is something like, I mean, it never gets easier, I'm not going to say it really does, but this is something I've been used to. People look at me all the time, people are always watching me, people are always like, I'm always the person who's not. And I think like for Macy, Lexi, and even you, Malia, this is kind of the first time you guys are really in this situation of like,
I mean, we were in the wheelchair last time.
but
Yeah,
even
but it wasn't
still, like,
this.
it wasn't an issue with accessibility that you were the problem cause. Not that anybody's ever the fault of their accessibility. That is not what I am saying. But, like, it's what you feel like in this. And this is, I think, the first time you guys are in this situation. And, like, everybody was really overwhelmed anyways. Like, this was horrible. So, we get up to the castle. And we get in. So, we're just, I mean, like I'm saying, like, we're horrible. We feel horrible. We walk in, we go into a movie, we pass a person, and we're kind of, I'm like, we pass them, I'm like, I wonder how much longer we have, like, can we just ask how much more time is left in this line? But I've already gone through the, like, line, people are behind me, I can't move. So, Lexi goes back,
I'll take it over.
and Lexi goes and starts talking to her.
Yeah, so I'm like, you guys just go, because there's like a little room where they have like a little Hagrid video or whatever. Yeah, little holding area.
I've never seen this.
Well, I haven't either.
Well,
so.
this is the first time we went through normally.
Well, I haven't seen either. I was talking the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys just go.
backwards.
Okay, I saw it, guys.
Leah saw it, guys!
I'm sorry. I was like, get me out of here. So, I'm like, y'all just wait here. I'll go talk to one of the workers. And so I go up to her and I'm like, basically what everybody's just been saying. Like, hey, we have an accessibility pass. We were told to go into the wrong line.
We're stuck.
We're
Get us
stuck.
out.
We were only supposed to wait for 30 minutes because of one of our party members. We've been here for over an hour and we just want to leave.
Yeah.
We don't know how to get out of here. We just need to leave. And she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. This shouldn't have happened.
When you first described this to me, you said, and we've been here for over an hour, and then...
Oh yeah,
that's
she got
later,
mad.
that's later, yeah.
She was
No,
like,
no, the lady, that's later. You start talking to
no, the
somebody.
worker,
Oh,
the worker got
did?
upset. She was like,
Really?
she was
Yeah.
like,
What?
yeah, she was like, oh my god, I am so sorry. Like, she
And not
felt
mad at
so-
us, let's
no.
be clear.
No,
Not
not
mad
at
at
us.
us.
No,
Not that we had to go through that.
Because this
Yeah.
never should have happened.
Yeah.
And this is not, let's also be clear that I'm very positive this is not a normal experience.
No,
This is not. This is so
like I
not.
said, we've only ever had like great experiences here.
But
Like,
the problem is, it takes one person to make one mistake, and with accessibility, everything can go wrong, and that's what's so hard about being disabled sometimes, because everything you have is dependent on other people, and when one other person makes one mistake, everything you have is gone, and you have no control over it.
And when it's really hard with jobs like these, that, like, you know, mistakes happen.
They do.
Mistakes do happen, and you can't expect them to be perfect all the time. But when it comes to, you know, making sure that you have proper communication with your guests about, hey, if I'm asking you a question, give me an answer.
or pay attention to what I'm
Actually
asking.
listen to what I'm saying. And you could be having a bad day. That's great. It's not an excuse to not do your job.
Anyways, so I explained the situation to her. She's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. She's like, we do have an exit right through that room. Or if you get out of this room, you go up a little bit further, there's another exit there. And I was like, okay, but like, do these have stairs? Because that was an issue earlier when we were trying to leave. And she's like, oh yes, those ones do have stairs. I was like, okay, well, like I said, our party member is in a wheelchair, so we can't exactly go downstairs. I was like, we can try.
I don't understand why people don't
If you guys
understand
want to
that.
lift me up like a throne and
I
carry
know.
me in the wheelchair, be my guest.
I forgot to say this part of it because I was just so overwhelmed with everything. I said, I mean, we can always try, and she goes, no, I don't want her to fall out of the chair.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
No, she said that.
I don't want her to fall.
I was like, no, like she could walk down them. We would lift the chair. And she's like, oh. She was trying to be so humble. I love it. So sweet.
Oh, that's the best possible response. It's so sweet.
So we're like, yeah, so those exits are not an option. She's like, okay, well, do you guys just want to go back down the way that you came? And I was like, okay, we would, however, we physically cannot because I was like, I don't know.
We have a wheelchair, And the line,
well, I don't think she realized. I had explained the door. I was like, I don't know if you realize this, but the width of the lanes barely fit a wheelchair already, so we can't go back down that way with all these people. Not to mention the fact that if there's another wheelchair in line, we can't pass them. There's no room to do it. Like, we would just be stuck. There's nothing that we would be able to do at that point. And she's like, okay, well, the only other option is to finish out the ride, like finish out the line. And I was like, I appreciate that, but we really cannot do that either. We're getting so overwhelmed. Like, we need to get out of here. Yeah. Like, we cannot be here anymore.
At this point, wasn't it in, like...
There was another 45 minutes.
And a consideration of,
no, not even, it was
going to one of the...
That was the initial thing. She said a minimum 45 minutes.
What I'm saying is, after I met up with you guys, inevitably, there was talk about going to one of the quiet rooms at the park. Because the park, this is not actually something that's very well known. The park has quiet rooms for people who are getting overstimulated. Yeah. So that they can go, and there's like sensory toys and like, you know, weighted blankets, and it's very nice. We would never use that. Well, and these, like, we would never normally use that because we know where there's little quiet places to go in the park. That's how desperate I was getting.
Yeah. So I was like, we just need to get out of here. And she's like, okay, let me go find a team leader and we'll get this worked out, I promise. I was like, fantastic, great. And then about that time, somebody else came up to take over for her while she was finding a team leader. So she's like, is there an issue? I explained the problem with her again. She's like, oh, yeah, no, that's not good.
Is there an issue?
Oh, boy, there is.
Let me tell you what the issue is.
And so around that time is when Kai and Malia joined back with me because I think they could tell that I was getting, like,
the room
upset.
Emptied, so people moved out, and that was the chance for us to move in because they had stopped. So by the time
they had stopped people from coming in, too.
And we started
Okay,
sorry.
So, part of the line, in order to slow it down so like the workers themselves are not overwhelmed trying to get people onto the ride, is that they'll have like different rooms where like they'll have like videos or something interactive going to slow down the line and to give people like just a second.
And to entertain people in the line.
And to entertain them in the line because it gets boring after a while. So, what they'll do is they'll let so many people through, stop the line where it's at, let this video play, let them out through the other side, and then let more people in and keep going with this cycle. Okay. Before you guys came over to where I was, the lady who I just came, she had told the people next to wait. Like, she told them to physically stop because they were dealing with a situation. Yeah. And that's why nobody went in when you guys were coming our way.
Well, because I was also on my way, and I think she saw me.
So you guys backtracked?
Yeah.
Not really.
No, they just physically stopped the line to get this issue figured out because she wasn't sure what was going on. Yeah. So they had stopped the line to try and
the 125-minute line.
The 125-minute line.
Because that's what it went up to by the time I got out there.
To figure out what was going on with us, what we needed. And so they joined back up with us. And we explained the situation again. And there was this lady that was in line. Like, she was the first person to go into that room. And she just goes, oh my god, they had been waiting so long. They had been so much, like, they were so far ahead of us. Like, we saw them waiting up there. I didn't know they were only supposed to wait 30 minutes. They shouldn't have been in line that long. Why were they in line that long? Like, she was getting so upset for us. It was so sweet.
It was really nice.
So eventually we had to wait there for just a minute. Brianna came back with their team manager.
That's the team member's name.
Sorry, team member's name, yes. So they came back with the team manager or team leader, sorry. And I'm so confused now. Team leader. Oh my god.
Brianna came back with the team leader.
Yes. Yes. And she was like, okay, we're gonna get you out of here, but we're gonna do it in a way without stairs. And we're like, fantastic, that sounds good to us.
I don't think I was expecting what we did. Yeah.
No.
I thought she had a secret passage or something.
No.
Like an FJ.
I don't know if I would have agreed to it had I known.
Well, there was nothing else we could do at that.
There was nothing else we could do. Yeah. I don't know.
So the three of us we moved through the room, there's an exit door, the video's playing, everybody's in there because they started filing people in at a certain point. We're like, I felt so bad because she's such a nice lady and I was at my wit's end and there was somebody who was not moving on. I will run over your foot, move. And I felt really, she kind of like looked at me, I was like, oh, is this when we were when we were trying to leave the room?
Yeah.
We opened the door, of course all the light comes in and everyone kind of looked at us weird and I'm like, They're like, why is the store opening?
I'm going to punch somebody because stop looking at us. Like, I'm done. So we go out. We end up back in the line outside. So essentially what we're doing is going, like, because we had gone all the way through the line. We essentially cut back and forth between different parts to go back through the line with people that we did not fit in with some, like, her opening the gate so we could bounce back and forth. She had to move trash cans out of the way. Like, horrible. But this thing is, like, could fit a wheelchair and a half, right? And everybody
Not a half. No.
Not even a half.
Maybe a third. It's a wheelchair and a person.
Yeah, a wheelchair
not
and
even.
a person.
Not a person.
Nobody
is
was running over
sideways.
people's toes.
I was running over everyone's feet because there was not enough space for people with big feet and the wheels.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad, but there was nothing else to possibly do. So we're like going down and like people are pressed against the railing. Well, and like routinely, like kids were like on the other side. I'm like, you're gonna have to move and I can't stop. Move.
Yeah.
Like it was, and I mean, there's hundreds of people that are like pressed against the side for us to go by.
Yeah, there were a lot of people.
It was horrible.
Literally.
Of course, everybody's looking, not just people in the line, like everybody around us is looking. At this point, I'm just like dead set angry
There were
going
some
down.
really nice people.
Yeah,
though,
there were
that,
some
like,
really nice.
Were really, like,
Oh, that
we're
one
trying to make
lady.
sure that we were okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't like everyone, I didn't even
Like-
see any. I was dead set.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
was like,
trying.
I wanted to emphasize that there are good people.
No,
in
and
the
this
world.
is not, and like Universal is an amazing experience. This is genuinely one of the most universal places.
I mean, yeah.
Except,
This is one of those universal
this is one of the most
places.
successful places in the world, and it's amazing. And like, almost every single team member is fantastic. Like, and most of the people we walk into are amazing. But even if they're looking from a place of niceness or curiosity, it is still hard when you are panicking. And so I didn't even see anybody. I couldn't even look up because I was just trying not to run over toes and not fall into the crack next to it.
Did you hear the lady who was like, "There's stairs over there"?
Oh yeah, there was
Yeah,
one
she
lady who was like, "Don't go this way. There's stairs this way."
I was like,
And
"We'll
we're
just
like,
throw her."
No, don't worry, we got it.
I was like, "We're going a different way." Malia went, "We'll just throw her."
Really, we just throw her down the stairs.
But like, yeah, there were a lot of nice people. But yeah, I'm just like dead set trying not to run anyone over. We get to the bottom and she's like, "Do you guys want to go on the ride? We'll just bring you right in through the like back entrance and get you on." And I was like,
Which is what we typically.
I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm about to cry because like I was angry as soon as we got out of the line. I was like, oh my god! And like she's like, "You want to go on the ride?" I'm like, yeah. So we go and we like. Then she's like, "Can you walk to the ride at all?" And at this point, I'm like, no. Don't expect me to stand up and take any steps. It's not happening. I'm out for the count because I'm just panicked and shaky now. And we get on, and we're kind of sat down, and Malia and I are next to each other. And then we're kind of going back and forth for a little while. We're kind of talking for a little bit, and then I say something to you, and I'm like, I just look away, and I start crying, and I don't stop crying until like we go through the ride. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but I was still crying the whole time.
They could be mistaken for tears of
Exactly,
joy.
and that was half the reason I said let's. What?
I wish I could have seen those pictures.
Oh my god,
my
that
God,
would have been so
seriously.
funny.
I just look. I know that I just.
You
look
were
like,
also tearing up before we were sitting there because you were so panicked. Both of us were just like panicked, and Malia's like, "Yeah, I'm on the motorcycle."
But I do have to say, if you were to see the picture, I would look like I was in like Indiana Jones or something like that because I have I have my Quidditch goggles on and they're bobby pins
Oh, and
in
you're on the
place.
motorcycle.
But I was also holding on to them, so like my jacket's like flapping in the wind. I'm holding on. I'm like, ah!
What a mental image right there. Yeah, no, I mean we were all just kind of like tearing up. We get
We're
off the
trying to
ride.
just be happy again.
And we were trying, yeah. Well, Malia did not struggle with that one. She did not care.
I remember the last time they felt joy.
But I'm like literally crying, and we get out. We go to see one of the shows because we love the shows. So we spend a lot of time there, like looking at the actors. We've made a bond.
It was only the three of us, too. So.
Yeah, it was just the three of us still. We met up with Macy later, but like it's just the three of us. We pull up there, and like I'd gotten a little How to Train Your Dragon plushie earlier in the day, so I'm like sitting there in the wheelchair, like holding the plushie, and we pull up, and we know them. We talked to them a bunch, and like I'm sure they saw me just like the entire time, so I'm like trying not to
I'm just
cry.
like slowly
You're
reaching
like
under
crying.
my sunglasses, trying
Yeah.
to like wipe
We're
away.
both like crying through my tears, trying to get mascara everywhere, and they saw multiple times, and they were like looking.
The cast members, there's two shows that happen at the park. It is the Tri-Wizard Rally and the Frog Choir. and the first ones that start during the day are the Tri-Visit Rally, and we went to a bunch of their shows yesterday. We went to a bunch of their shows today. It's something that is like kind of like people in the parks typically kind of just walk right by.
Yeah.
Like sometimes kids go and like they always have a
people
crowd.
like if you're walking by and you see it, you stop and look at it,
and then other people will just go right past.
But most people just go past it, and
But
so
it's
they're not busy.
our favorite part of the.
But yeah, it's our favorite part because when we watched, we get really into it, we get really excited, and they see how excited we are, and they get really into it.
Like
they get excited,
them. It's great.
and they change it up.
So
They
much
do something
fun.
different, and like it might get boring for some people to watch the same show over and over and over again. But like,
For
it's
context, y'all on my YouTube already know I'm a writer. And if you don't, go watch my other videos. However, my friends are performing arts majors, so they're all actors. So we've got writing and acting. So obviously we're sitting here loving this narrative performance. So, you know, for context.
yeah, and there were some people that were in the cast that were there yesterday, and some of them were there the time that Lexi, Malia, and I went in August, and we met
And
them.
some had been there literally
in April, the year before.
to the day last year.
To the day. And so we were very familiar with them. And so like when we were there last year in that week, they realized the moment I switched from being able to stand to being in a wheelchair, and they like asked us if we were okay. And so like they're very attentive. They notice these things, and so they'll notice when
They're
like
so sweet. I love
they're
them all.
so
They're
so
awesome.
kind, amazing.
But you know, we all sat there like trying not to cry, and so then they're like okay, there we go.
So
Yeah, we're just sat there trying not to cry. Well, and failing. We were indeed crying, and then eventually we
I
met
would
up
like
with.
to note that about I'd say 40-60% of me crying was I have really sensitive eyes, so they just dry out. No, I'm saying no 40% is
FJ crying. So
40% is the dryness, 60% was being overwhelmed. But my eyes just dry out, and I just cry all the time because I can't get any moisture in them. Anyways, fun little
But yeah, no, it was a moment, and honestly, like we love Universal so much. It was just somebody made a mistake, and it fucked us over very badly, and we were out of it for a long time, like emotionally.
Because the actors from Tri-Wizard Rally recognized us, they invited us back to go take pictures and talk with them.
So they had asked us to go back to meet the cast, and we're like, oh, absolutely. But remember, at this point, it's still just me, Malia, and Kai. And so we're walking past where we're trying to call her. We're like, oh my god, where is she? She needs to be here. Because we're
calling Macy, no answer, texting Macy, call her again! Ah!
Yeah. And I was in the ride. I was in one of the rides for FJ, doing the single rider ride with my little Beijing kids.
FJ's Forbidden Journey, by the way. It's the one in Hogwarts. And so
They were so cute.
we had told them that there was 4 of us, but that we couldn't find our 4th member. And they're like, oh, well, if you find her on the way, she's allowed to come. We're like, fantastic.
I didn't know that you even told them. I thought that I just...
No, I told them, don't worry.
So
And so we're walking past where Forbidden Journey lets out, and I go, wouldn't it just be funny if Macy just so happened to walk out right as we go past by? And as soon as I'm done talking, we see Macy walk out the door. And we're like, oh my god, Macy!
And I walk out. Now, it's kind of weird walking out of these rides because it's so dark inside, and then it's really bright outside. And the first thing I see after adjusting is, come on, we're going back, we're main cast! Macy! Not even full sentences, just waving, saying, come on, pictures! Go! Pictures!
After that, we used the express passes, we did a few more rides, we had a good time, and then we went back and...
Watch it, I'm listening to you talk.
you were...
I was drinking something.
I know, it's really funny. Anyway. I can't even exist. We just used the express passes. We went on a few more rides. It was a lot of fun.
Saw more cast members.
Saw more cast members. And then the last show, we caught one more ride, and we're like, oh, we're getting off just in time for one last thing, and we're gonna be a little bit later than we want to, but we're gonna watch this one last show. And at this point, we're all still tired, and we're in a better mood, but we were still like off. We get to the last show. It was one of our favorites.
It was delayed, too.
It was delayed, so we got there
didn't miss
perfect.
it.
We didn't miss anything.
We thought we were gonna get there for the last song.
Yeah.
It turns out,
We got there, but and so then there was an ASL interpreter who came up, and we were really worried we weren't gonna say goodbye to them because they thought we were maybe gonna be there for a few more days, and we weren't. So we got to say goodbye after. But we didn't think we were gonna say goodbye. We didn't even think we were gonna see them. But we go show up. There was an ASL interpreter for another group of deaf people, and I was like, oh my god, it was really cool to see it. And I was like, we gotta do that next time because I can't actually hear the lyrics when they're like singing with music. And I was like, that was actually really cool. And that was a lot of fun. And then they did
specifically.
Yeah, they actually have like the hippogriff sign or whatever. It was so cool.
Yeah, no.
And so,
Well, this is I think Wicked or something, but
yeah.
we'll like figure out what it is.
I think, but like no, like Wicked was like this. Hippogriff was like.
Oh,
But hippogriff was like it was two signs.
This way.
Oh, I thought it was like something.
Maybe it is this way. But anyway, it's done.
That's the whole thing. But yeah, it was really cool. And we talked to him for a little bit. It was awesome. And then we did a bit of. Oh yeah, they did the one song.
Okay, so for the frog choir, they stop laughing. For the frog choir, they have a set list that rarely, if ever, changes. And there's one song that, it's like one of the first times I've ever seen happen is "Do the Hippogriff." Stop laughing at me.
Just keep going. I'm not laughing at you.
That is.
Ignore her.
So one of the songs I've never seen before was "Do the Hippogriff," and so they start doing like their lead up to it, and they're like, "How many people have ever seen this creature, the hippogriff?" But like, all they had to say was "creature," and we knew exactly what was happening, and so Macy screamed
Like that.
like that.
Well, let's be clear. The other times you've tried to tell the story, you guys said, do the noise. And I said, don't worry, I know when to come in.
And this just ungodly noise. I can't even.
I can't do it now.
As a singer, I am a contra alto. I have never hit this note in my life. It was so high. And it just erupted from me at the second that they said creature, and I knew where she was going with it.
Creature, I just screamed so gutturally loud.
And they all just stopped and looked at us and then started laughing.
And mind you, I wasn't even paying attention because I was so enthralled with the like ASL interpreter who was doing stuff. I was just like the whole time staring at him. I'm sure he was like, what the fuck is wrong with this child? But then you guys are like screaming and I'm like, what's happening? It was great.
And so I think we all had very visceral reactions. Like you guys like moved your arms. I like squatted down, did this thing. Like
in comparison to the reaction
of everybody around us.
To the earlier one was, has anybody ever seen a hippogriff before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were no cheers or anything like that. I literally had my hand on the cane and like my hand was in my pocket trying to get a phone. So I went to clap and then nobody else clapped and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
So yeah.
But I smiled really big and she still saw it.
Yeah. That's just really what a change.
Anywho, we jammed out the hippogriff and then obviously I'm pretty sure it's because of that scream in particular that the lovely character technician came over and was like, hey guys, I know we did this yesterday, but we know how much you love the show. Do you guys want to come back and take pictures?
And we said absolutely.
We said say less. We want to say goodbye.
Well, especially because they had switched when we saw it the first time. The girl who was the Slytherin had switched roles to be the conductor.
Yeah, that wasn't the
Wasn't the original one.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, she switched.
Never mind, you just said that and I didn't process it.
She can't process, she can't hear.
You can't park there.
Right.
Anyways, it was a great day. And we're gonna go get dinner. McDonald's! Mickey D's!
Dinner of Champions.
I just want to mention one more time that yes, this was a one-time situation. Both Universal and Disney are some of the most accessible places in the world. We absolutely love being at both places, and this really was a unique situation. But I hope you enjoyed our little story time and was able to laugh at some of our misfortune with us. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. I hope you enjoyed. As always, much love. Bye!